this article from Sam Carana. He put this out on Wednesday the 25th, and he'll probably be updating it as we go along like he always does. This is from Arctic News, arctic-news.blogspot.com, and it's titled "There is No Time to Lose," and he talks about the rising CO2 levels and goes into how they're still rising, and just because we had a lockdown worldwide, it doesn't mean that the CO2 is not still rising, that it's pretty much baked in the cake. And the problem is we've got all these people in the world and all this stuff. So but the big thing I want to look at, I don't want to read every word of this. I'll leave the link below and y'all can look at it yourself. But he talks about the methane rise over, for last year, and the CO2 equivalent, and how that's heating up the world that much faster, and this and that. But what I really wanted to focus on is at the end of the article, he's got a new table. It's right here, and it's different from the one that he's been showing for the last year or so. And in this one it says 10 degrees C or 18 degrees Fahrenheit temperature rise by 2026. And the old one, I saved it. So here's the new one. I downloaded it. We're going to look at this. Here's the old one. It says total rise by 2026 18C or 32.4 degrees Fahrenheit. So he's come down with the potential rise, but it's still what's disturbing is now here on the old one we reached 2C in 2020, and he shows us reaching almost 3C by the end of 2021. Now remember, this is a projection according to all the different things, and it's from potential rise in global air temperature at land ocean surface level from 1750 to 2026. Land ocean surface level. Okay, so that may be different. So here's the new chart. 10 degrees C or 18 degrees Fahrenheit temperature rise by 2026. Warming elements stack for February 1750 to 2026. Created by Sam Carana for Arctic News for February. I don't know if this, I guess this is February of each year. So here's what he's got, and here are the color breakdowns. And so the degrees are over here in Celsius. Here's 1 degree, here's 2C, here's 3C, 4C, and up to 10C over here. And this aqua block is rise before 1900. So he's changed this a little bit. So it's this area before 1900. Then the pink is 1900 to 2016. And then these, starting in 2016, you start seeing more stuff. Then you get methane, like the reddish color is seafloor methane release. So he's got that coming up. Let's zoom in a little more. It's hard to see. He's actually got that on these top bars on some of these. But here's 2018, and he's showing that in 2018, so I guess this is February of 2018, we were already over 2C rise if you counted back to 1750. And then here's 2019, we were almost up at 3C. And here's 2020, February of 2020, so we were above 3, we were about 3.5C. And here's February of 2021, we're going to be above 4C, just above 4C. And I mean, this is the end of November right now, so we're already up. We're up here. We could already be up at 4C, because that's only a couple of months out, February. And then 2022 shows 5C. 2023 shows about 6C. 2024 shows just a little over 7C. 2025 shows about 8.5C, and 2026 shows 10C. So this is concerning to me, and so he breaks these down by, like, the green is aerosols, this purple is more CO2 warming, and that's baked in the cake. This is just baked in the cake, and even if we stopped all emissions, we would still have that going on. Here's the orange is snow and ice decline, the blue is water vapor feedback, and then this dark purple is further feedbacks. So we can see it went down in 2017, but then it went back up in 2018. That was the 1900 to 2016 rise. For whatever reason, 2017 went down. But so here's 2018, where things started stacking up and going above 2C. Now without the blue down here, the rise before 1900, it would have dropped down. We would have been a little bit below 2C, I imagine, or right at 2C. But look at 2019, we were almost up at 3C by February of 2019. And then February of 2020, we were already at 3.5C rise. So, and see, these are all the feedback loops that are kicking in now. And as it goes exponential, you see that the rise comes from all these feedback loops. And like here's 2020, here's the snow and ice decline. Here's more seafloor methane coming up, and we had more water vapor feedback. And then further feedbacks will include ozone, the lack of ozone, and other things. And he shows it in one of his articles. You can look back through and see. I think it's extinction by 2026 in that article. Aerosols. Look at aerosols. And so if this is true, then we're already at 4C, because this was February of 2026, and we've been going up ever since then. So this would be February of 2021, where this line is 4C. So we'd be hitting 4C by December or January. And he has said, and Guy McPherson has said too, that once we hit 3C, we can't live. Humans will become extinct at 3C. So we hit, according to this, we hit 3C probably in 2019, because this was February of 2019 and we were just below 3C. So if this is true, then things are much worse than we thought, and this is why we're seeing the chaotic weather. This is why we're seeing the jet stream all broken up. We're seeing the methane coming up exponentially, and you're going to keep seeing it. It's not going down. It might go down temporarily in the winter, but it's run away now. And this is why we're seeing the wildfires the way they are. The magma is rising. The magma is rising, and the surface of the earth is heating up, and we're at the end. We're at death's doorstep, if this is true. And there was no explanation. That's another thing that bothered me about this. He didn't say, this is a redo of my previous image or whatever. And so yeah, it's a 10C rise by 2026, and the old one was an 18C rise by 2026. But in the old one, it didn't show us hitting 3C in 2019 to 2020. It showed us below 2C in right around 2C at 2020. But this must be new information. And why would he not talk about the change here? Why would he not? It's a little more than disturbing. I'm kind of flipping out over this. All he says is the final image on the right shows that methane, here's this image that it's referring to. The final image on the right shows that methane has accumulated more at higher altitudes over the years. So there's that. There's that image. But then he throws this in, and this is the first time he's used this image of 10C. It's been 18C. And he says, in conclusion, a huge temperature rise could already occur soon, even with relatively small methane releases. Further warming elements are included in above image, which takes into account not only at carbon dioxide and methane, but also aerosol changes, albedo changes, water vapor, nitrous oxide, etc. These warming elements could cause a joint warming of as much as 10 degrees C as early as 2026, an earlier analysis shows. The joint impact of these warming elements threatens the cloud tipping point to be crossed, and the resulting 8 degrees C rise could come on top of the 10C rise, resulting in a total rise of 18C, as illustrated by the image on the right. So there's that, and the old image too. Indeed, there's no time to lose. It's high time to stop the denial of the size of the threats and challenges that the world faces, the harm that could be inflicted, and the speed at which developments could strike. So, I'm really concerned. I don't think this is a mistake. I don't think it is. Let's go down so you can see. See, here's 4C. There's 2021. Here's 2020. Here's 2019. So here's 3C 2019. February. It says for February. Warming element stack for February. 1750 to 2026. So I'm assuming that this stack is for February of each year. That's what I'm assuming. So if anybody knows any different, or if Sam Carano wants to comment, I'd be welcome for that. But if this is the case, and I know I'm repeating myself, I'm kind of in shock though. If this is the case, we are already well above 3C and probably at 4C temperature rise, with from all of these feedback loops kicking in. And it could be worse. It could be up to 18C, just depending on how fast everything breaks down. And here's where he breaks out CO2 plus CO2 plus methane with the parts per million carbon equivalent. There's that. Up to, here's 600. wait, let's see this. So here's 2000. So in 2000 we were above, there's 10, 20. So we're almost at 2021. So we're almost at 800 CO2 equivalent. So it's a lot worse than we knew. It is much worse than we knew. And so he talks about all of that, the equivalence in fossil fuel, agriculture, land use, change, forestry, and where these greenhouse gases are coming from, etc., etc., etc. So I just wanted to start off with that.